All right, let's pick up the pace with some other stuff now, including another flop from the Labor Party where they promise big and deliver very little. Now, in June of last year, the promise was that there was going to be the fast tracking of visas from people from overseas to come and work in our aged care facilities. Why? Because we wanted to get a nurse 24/7 in every single aged care home. We know that's been delayed. Well, we learn amazingly today about just how few people have actually taken up this offer. In fact, according to the Australian newspaper today, just 2% of visas have been granted under the scheme almost a year after it was established. In fact, we are now just talking about 155 workers that have been brought into the country to work in our aged care facilities after the government said that they were planning to fast-track those people into our country. What a surprise. Another Labor fail. Friday, of course, is Australia Day. We look forward to it. We look forward to celebrating it because we understand what's good about it. We understand the complexity of our history, but we understand that this is the greatest joint on earth. We know that, of course, at the Gabba, if you happen to be there and tropical cyclones won't be washing the game out, you will not hear a word about Australia Day. But I wanted to give a big tick today to the New South Wales Premier, Chris Minns. This is a bloke who's going to be a Premier for a long time. Why? Because he knows that almost 70% of the country doesn't want to change it. The 30% who do, well, they probably voted Green anyway.
It's probably a bit of a head-scratcher for a lot of people tuning in from around the world, watching cricket or tennis and wondering why on Australia's National Day it's not even being mentioned. So I think they should revisit it. I hope they do. And I know I'll be celebrating Australia Day.
Now, I also noticed on Sunrise this morning there was this little exchange from one of their hosts who, like us, is okay with Australia Day.
Australians are getting sick of this tiptoeing around Australia Day, and there should be some leadership from the top so that we don't have to all sort of be embarrassed about what we're doing on that day.
Nice question, but who's embarrassed? Why do you have to be embarrassed? I don't need permission from the Prime Minister to have pride in my country, to see that it's National Day is the day that we in part celebrate it, that it's a day when so many people come to the country, join the greatest club in the world. I don't need permission from anyone else. So let's all agree. Don't be worried about the tiptoeing. If you want to mark it, mark it. If you want to celebrate it, celebrate it. If you want to do whatever you want to do on the day, good luck to you. If you're part of the 30% who doesn't and don't want to turn up to work, okay, fine. But in a democracy, majority rules, and majority is well and truly behind this day. We understand our history. No one is ignorant about its history. But we deserve a national occasion to celebrate the greatest country in the world. We shall do so a little later this week. But there is, of course, a plan about how the day slowly but surely changes, is that no one turns around and signs a piece of paper. Just those of us who believe in a national day to celebrate the great modernity of which we live in, well, we'll all just die out. In fact, that's the actual position that was written once in the paper by Craig Emerson. Now, of course, you know Craig Emerson now is the bloke who has been brought back into the political fold. The former Labor MP is now the one doing the supermarket inquiry. Remember, he's also the guy who had Grocery Watch and then had to kill off Grocery Watch because it was a terrible idea in the Gillard and Rudd governments. Well, literally, he wrote a piece which was entitled, "Why Australia Day Will Just Die of Old Age." An Indigenous Affairs reporter for the ABC wrote something similar. And to give you an idea about how this plan works is a story that was in the Daily Mail today, which shows that in many childcare centres in Australia, they are very active in talking about Invasion Day. So in the same way that you're learning that the numbers go 1, then 2, then 3, then 4, and the alphabet goes the full 26, and you're starting to learn how to paint, you're starting to learn how to talk, you're starting to learn how to tell stories. Well, when the people who are taking care of you each and every day, that are educating you in your earliest of days, there's no sign of the Australian flag around many childcare centres around the country. This is how it works, which is slowly but surely, Nana and Papa just go away. Mum and Dad, they don't really want to cause a fuss anymore, and that's how the left gets what it wants. But there are people pushing back, like my friend Frank Carbone. Now, Frank is the Mayor of Fairfield in Sydney's West. This is a richly diverse place where 79% of people in that local government area speak a language other than English at home. Frank will be on the show tonight because in his council area, they have spent thousands of dollars buying little Australian flags to hand out to anyone who wants them in the streets of Cabramatta, in the streets of Fairfield. and all around. We'll have a chat to the Mayor a little bit later. But also, we've spent a lot of time talking about the retailers who are not stocking anything when it comes to Australia Day. Well, I wanted to put up a list on television about where you can buy stuff. Now, will this change the Australian economy? No. But if you want to support people that are still holding on to some form of Australia Day merchandise, then go to Coles. If they can't find it, then ask, hey, can you check out the back if you've got any Australia Day stuff? They've got it at the Reject Shop, they've got it at Best and Less, they've got it at several super IGAs around the country. If you want to get a flag, they make them in Victoria and they can send them around the country by the end of the week. Flagworld.com.au. You can get the boxing kangaroo flag, the Australia Day flag, all the rest. And if you're lucky enough to be in South Australia, you can go to Drake's. But if you really want to go to Drake's to get something, you should do it pretty soon, because here's the boss saying they're selling out of it.
It's been that good, we're probably going to sell out of all Australia Day merchandise. We give our customers the ability to choose whatever they want to buy, as long as it's legal. And Australia Day merch is something that they definitely want to buy.
See, that's the point. Now, I know that much fuss has been made about who we're going to boycott and not boycott. I'm not into all of that. My point with Woolworths wasn't that they were stocking or not stocking, it was that they had to make the big announcement that they weren't stocking. So, yes, we can all be cranky with them, but actually use your money. Because here's the thing. When companies only hear from the people who complain about the things that they do, they respond to the people who complain. But if companies see that there is a spike in sales for certain products at certain times of the year, guess what they do? They stock them again next year, and then the year after and the year after that. So if it's $5 or $50, go to those businesses. Put the link up again. Now, we know that Coles has got something, but who knows whether their board gets taken over by wokies in the next few months. But go to the Reject Shop, go to Best and Less, go to Super IGAs, go to Flag World, go to Drake's.